Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. Today we're going to continue on with where we left off in the last stream. So I haven't done any additional work with that, so you haven't missed anything. I have merged a few pull requests, so we'll go over those quickly right at the beginning of our first Pomodoro session. And what did I want to say? Oh, sorry about not being able to stream yesterday. I did do a very short stream on my YouTube channel. If it was about coding on blockchain with Ethereum and Solidity, so just going through a tutorial. If you're interested in crypto or blockchain programming, like distributed apps, check that out. It wasn't a very good stream. I had a lot of interruptions and things, but I guess it's a little introduction to that kind of thing. The link to my channel, I think, is in the description of this video. So we're going to get started soon. I'm going to give everybody a few more seconds to come in. I'm sure some people are just getting their notifications that we went live. And hey everyone. Niki's in the middle of working on a pull request for the routing. So Niki says, just added something to the routing, hastily typing some explanation on the PR and GitHub. I was just looking at that pull request actually, so I'll hold off on that and wait, and maybe I'll check it out later then if you're in the middle of updating it. And let's see, let me make sure. All right, I got through most of the pull requests that were open. So if you're working on this code, or you have this running, locally, make sure you do a git pull, since some of the code has just changed. Literally, 5 minutes ago, I was still merging pull requests. Okay, so we're up to kind of our normal numbers here, so I guess we'll get started. Let me get everything set up. We have ngrok up and running already, so I'm going to paste that in the live chat for you all. So you can click on that link that I just pasted into the live chat, and you'll be able to see the website as I work on it. And actually, there's a new feature now on YouTube, so I think the live chat now gets saved, and you can see the live chat as you watch the replay. So as everything came through, you'll be able to see it. I think that's really cool. I haven't tested it out or anything. I just saw the message that that's available today, so hopefully that'll work. That'll be really nice for all the the people watching later on, watching the recordings. And let's start our timer. So if you're not familiar with this stream, I'm doing my regular everyday work as a front-end developer, and I do my work in Pomodoro sessions, so 25 minutes of coding, 5-minute break. On the stream, we do 25 minutes of coding, but then during the 5-minute break, I answer questions in the live chat, and then at the end, whatever questions are left over, I just take a long break and answer all those questions. So feel free to ask any questions. Don't worry if you're new. Ask as many questions as you need to understand. I'm more than happy to explain what's going on here. So let's start this up. We are working with React, which is a JavaScript library. Oops. I should bring the site over so everyone can see it, huh? There we are. And I did say I would show you some of the pull requests that we have. So let me show you. We've had just recently, I just merged in these 1, 2, 3. These three by J. Meza Kappa. So thank you so much for those. And these are some UI things that had really been bothering me, but I just didn't really have the time, to get to them. So I really appreciate that, because I mean, this really ends up being a big help. All these little things make a big difference in the final product, like those details. You have no idea how annoying it was, unless maybe you do, if you were trying to click it. When you'd open up the side nav and try to click here and nothing would happen, or try to click here and nothing would happen, right? And you had to click right on the words for the link to actually open. So I was giving presentations and I didn't get it exactly right and nothing would happen, right? So that is not a great user experience, and definitely wasn't great during my presentations. So that's awesome. So now this whole thing should be a link. Awesome. And it is a link. We also have cursor pointer now over this icon to let people know that it's a link, which we didn't have before. And we have some styling on our majors pages that we were working on before. We had some issues with the BR tags, to where on other pages, on the news pages, we didn't want them because there are a ton of BR tags just here and there and making the formatting look awful. Well, we actually do want the BR tags because they are playing an important role on our major pages. So those are the things that J. Mezzacappa worked on. So really appreciate that. Anybody that's interested in submitting pull requests, you're definitely welcome to. If you need some help, let me know. Don't be afraid to submit something, even if it's your first time submitting. I'm not going to yell at anybody or get upset if something's done wrong. Sometimes I'll just accept the pull request, and if one or two things need fixed, I'll just fix it after I accept the pull request. Other times I may just point out the things that need changed, and you could submit the pull request again. So this is very beginner friendly. I want to help as many people as I can to get pull requests in and build up their portfolios with legitimate and helpful contributions to this project and all the other projects that we work on. Okay, so that was a lot of intro. Oh no, you can only see my face the whole time? I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry. I didn't have OBS, like, it was behind some other stuff, so I couldn't tell. All right. Sorry, everybody. Real quick, this is what I was talking about. These entire items now are links, so you used to have to click on just the text. Now it's a link. This now is cursor pointer, and that's pretty much it. I had showed the last three pull requests. If you want to see them, they're the last three closed pull requests in the repo. I'm really sorry about that. That was bad. That was a long time of me showing things, so apologies to everyone. And John mentioned my gray beard hairs again, so I deserve that one for making you all stare at my face while I thought I was showing you my screen. Okay. Oh, cool. So Joey did those last three pull requests, and he's here. Joey, thank you so much. Those were just like perfect, exactly what I wanted. I really like it, and some of the solutions were totally different than how I thought I would solve it, and I really like it, especially how you where you put in the code here. I'll show you just quickly how I did this. So in our CSS, our news CSS that we're importing here, we basically wanted to keep all this CSS, and my thought was, well, let's make a whole nother style sheet and import it here. And this is so much more simple. He just did on the root component and put a and for all BR tags, did display unset. That's awesome. I didn't even know you could do unset, but really cool. I think that's it's so much better than what I was thinking of doing. So I really love that. That's one of the big benefits for me of having to review pull requests. I learned so many good techniques from you all when I'm trying to review the pull requests. I read pretty much every line of every pull request. So now I'm not talking about like NPM packages and stuff that you pull in. Of course I'm not reading that, but like the actual code that was added, I definitely, check that. All right, so now, cool. Joey says it was my first open source contribution other than just fixing docs. Awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm really happy for you, Joey. You did an excellent job. So you should definitely be proud of your first code contribution. Okay. So let's go to our search component. In our last episode, we were working on this search component, and we got it working to the point where we could search for a certain keyword, and it would search across multiple post types in our WordPress database, and using the WordPress REST API, we would get the results back as a JSON file, and then we would map over those results and display the titles of each one of those posts that that matched our keyword. So now what we would want to do is, well, two things definitely need to happen right away. One, we need to figure out why we're only getting 10 results no matter what word we put in. So it's probably something that I need to add to our string, to our URL where we're sending our requests. And secondly, we need to make a better looking user interface for this search. Right now it's very basic. The search bar and the search button are not styled at all, and the results aren't styled. So today will be more about the styling, whereas the last episode, the last stream was more about the mechanics of how are we going to format our query and get the data back. Now we're going to try to make that data look nice. I see some questions in there, so I just want to let you all know if you've asked a question, I will get to those questions as soon as my timer goes off here, this Pomodoro timer. Okay, so let's try to go to that search page. No, it's not working anymore. What's up with this page? Cannot read property data of null. That's weird. Alright, let's check out our page here and see what we're doing. This data. Okay, maybe it's trying to read the data here and we don't have it, so alright, so we're going to try to do a check here first then. Let's see if that exists. No. 11113. Okay, so it's saying we have no state at all. Did we even initialize? No, we didn't. State. Data. Let's just initialize data as, what are we going to want, an array of objects? Can I read data? No. Didn't plan on starting this with an error. Search gives an error and master as well. Let's see. Okay. I think it has something to do with at the very end of the episode. Keep saying episode. It's weird to say that. The end of the last stream, we were already on that page and we were grabbing data without a page refresh. And I think that was it. Like it didn't. There was always data there in state, so it wasn't causing an error. But now that we've just tried to load it again, and state is basically empty, then we're getting the error. So, can I read property data? No. I think my check is wrong, and I should have. Let's see. I need to go back and look how I checked for similar things previously, since I, for some reason, just can't remember how I do it. Blank is greater than 0. Right? Is it going to be there?
Exactly. No, I won't.
That was one of my favorite things that commencement. Yeah.
That was a commencement that you can kind of do receive.
Oh no. I already was doing the check. You're right, Nikki. I already had a ternary there. I already was checking for the state data, but it wasn't working. There we go. Okay, now it works. I believe the problem was that I didn't actually have anything here for data. So at some point that state does get set, but down here it was trying to check to see, hey, if this state data exists, you know, then move on. But there was, anyway, you get what I'm saying, right? So we forgot to initialize our state within just data, but just having it be an empty array. So let's just test this, verify that it's working, and there's no more bugs before we move on. So just do a simple word. Yep. All right. Cool. So it is working. Here's what it gave us. I'll hold the titles. I'm gonna do a refresh. Yep. Okay. Again. Yep. Awesome. It works. So sorry, I gotta change my Spotify. Okay. Michael says you need to knock on your wall and tell him to keep it down. Can you hear it? There is a conversation going on right outside my door to my office, so apologies for the noise there. All right, so let's style our search bar first. We'll get that search looking better. Actually, do we even want that?
I'm going to the bathroom.
I don't think we need... Alright, let me know what you think. Do we want a separate search bar on the search page? Or is it enough to just have a search bar here or here? I mean, I guess on mobile I could see an advantage to having another search bar, because you would actually... I mean, either way, you'd actually have to click again. Let me know what you think. Yeah, so I'm going to hold off on styling this for now. I'll leave it there, but I'm not going to style it if we end up deciding we don't even need another search bar. So for now, I'm going to try to give these just some basic style and try to get more than 10 to show up. And where is this? I think I can look... Let me look at a previous project. Where's my GitHub? Because I know we used this previously and we got more than 10 results for sure. So we're going to go to this Catechetical Institute site where we pulled some code from before. And where are we at? Pages, resources, and let's see what we're using here. There we are. So we have this per page 100. So let's put that in here. Let's save it. And now we go back here. Let's try it again. There we are. Okay. So now we're getting a lot more. So essentially we can get 100 results back now. So we don't even have 100 pieces of content. We're going to... Eventually, I think we'll have to think about, like, do we really want 100 results? Should we go, like, 20 at a time and then give the option to load more? You know, do we want to go with, like, infinite scroll style? I mean, these are all things that we will have to decide. But we don't have to decide them right now. So I just want to bring them up so that we can all think about them, about what a better user experience would be, and then we can try it out. And it, you know, it's one of those things that could easily be changed down the road. Where, you know, if we get feedback from real users, you know, could definitely do something, you know, differently. Okay, let me check my time. All right, about 6 minutes. So let's see what we can do with 6 minutes of, you know, styling some of this. First thing we'll do is let's grab another component and pull it in here. These are probably going to be, these will be cards. Let's think how we want to display these. Alright, let's go with something really simple for now. I think I'm not going to try to use an existing component just now. Originally my idea was to have this all like, you know, cards, so multiple columns of cards. But I have a different idea now. I think I'm going to make the search results look more like a Google search or something similar. Users are, I think, more familiar and comfortable with that. So that's what I'm going to go with for this. That also frees us up a bit, because with the cards, I know if I do the card style, I'm going to get feedback from other people here at the university of, you know, can we put some images or some video in there? Then that's just going to be a little bit extra, you know, more things to handle, more things to load. And I don't know that that would necessarily enhance the experience. We could certainly have one type of search that's a video search or an image search. that we could have that content, but I don't like the idea of mixing the content together and having it display. If that does, I like can see it in my head. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense, but it's difficult to make just text content look good if it's in this kind of masonry layout alongside primarily video content or image content. You end up, depending on the screen width, it just looks weird. So I'm going to try it like this. I'm going to stop talking and just try to do something now. So let's see. Yeah, I'm in the right spot. So right now we just have divs. Each one of these is a div. What we're going to want to do now, though, is, so we want to keep this as the title, certainly. And title div. Yeah, let's keep this as the div here, but then let's make this let's go with H. I'm just gonna make this a span for now. And we're gonna call this class name, title, whoops, classes, title, whoops, there we go. What is that? Classes is not defined. Yeah, we didn't define that. Let's put in some classes. Oops, I put that in the wrong spot. No, that was the right spot. But then I also need to bring in with styles. Is that how you do this? What am I doing wrong? Compose. I'm messing this all up. Alright, let me just go back for now. What am I missing from these other pages? With styles. I'm bringing in. Alright. Let's bring this in. Whoops. With styles. And now maybe this will be better. So I don't need data though. Let's see. With styles. Drawer. Shoot. What is the with root here? Do I need this? Let's see. Alright. Joey's saying maybe export default with root, with styles page. Alright, let's try that. Alright, let's try that. Okay, cool. Oops, I gotta use one. Okay, now we're getting classes is not defined. All right, my timer went off. So we're gonna get this working when I get back. And here's why this isn't working. I never define classes. Okay, so I'll define classes when we get back. Taking a break is nice, because when I stopped trying to look for the problem and I took 3 seconds to take a break, I realized I had never defined it. That's why it's saying it's undefined, of course. Alright, I'm going to go to the top of the live chat and answer the first questions first. See how far we can get down the chat. Gospel says, I'm just a beginner in programming. I had studied C, C++, Java, but I couldn't know coding till now. Okay, cool. I think that you're saying that this stream is helping you learn how to code effective coding. So that's awesome. I'm really glad. If that's the case, what you're saying, I'm really, really glad that helps you out. So thanks for watching. Feel free to ask any questions. Stepan, it's S-T-E-P-A-N. So Stepan says, hello, Jesse. I'd like to ask how to learn how to integrate HTML to WordPress. How did you learn doing this? Where did I learn about this? I guess there weren't really a lot of tutorials available when I started to learn. I'm assuming you're talking about using the WordPress API like this. I started using the API before it was a part of WordPress core, so kind of early on, and they were on version 2 at that point, so it wasn't like right at the beginning. But I just read through the documentation and tried to find any info I could on blogs and things like that, and then just tested things out. So it was kind of tough, honestly. At first, there's a lot more information now. Yeah, but I was just kind of kept trying out. So you definitely need to know how to make requests to the API. So whether you want to use Ajax or Fetch or Axios or something like that. So learn how to make requests, API calls with JavaScript, and then WordPress installs come automatically with the API now. So you can get data right off the bat, with any WordPress site that is up to date. Mayor asks, why won't you develop this site using WordPress or Laravel, or it's just personal preference? Well, we are we're using WordPress for the content management, and we're pulling data from there. I prefer the front end, and all the things that the user ends up seeing and is not WordPress. WordPress, I think, is great for a lot of use cases, but if your goal is to make a site that's very versatile and fast, as well as having the capability to be a progressive web app, I don't think WordPress is the easiest system to use. So that's why I like to go with React. React has a lot of those capabilities. And depending on how you build it with Next or Create React App, a lot of those capabilities come built in. So it gives me a lot more freedom to more quickly change things and add features than it would if I worked with WordPress. Now, if I was very skilled with PHP, it might be easier for me to change a WordPress theme. But I'm way more experienced with JavaScript than I am with PHP. So this works well for me, and I like the fact that my data is decoupled from the rest of my front end there, because it gives me the ability to pull in data from different sources, to totally migrate to something else if I wanted to, either with the front end or the back end, because they're not tightly coupled. Like normally in a WordPress install, if you do things normally with themes, you know, the look of your site and your WordPress installation are all together. So it would be very difficult to say like, hey, I love how the site looks, but you know what, I don't want to use WordPress anymore for this. I want to switch to, I don't know, let's say Drupal. Well, essentially that means you're going to completely rebuild your site and have to transfer all your data. Well, I mean, I guess you could potentially say, no, you'd have to. If you didn't like, if you liked the look but you didn't want to deal with the WordPress backend, you'd have to redo your whole site. This way, what we could do is say, okay, let's transfer all our WordPress data somewhere else and just pull it into the site, just like we were doing before. Might have to change a few things in where we're making the API calls, but essentially your site can remain, from a user's point of view, exactly the same, even though everything behind the scenes has changed. Yeah, so those are some of the benefits that I see from having them decoupled and not doing it kind of the traditional WordPress way. All right. Obviously, as you can see, my timer's up. Let's see where I'm leaving off at. Let's see. Let me just write down where we're leaving off so I can go right back there. Let's see. 12:40. Okay. All right, let's go back. I do need to take a drink. I have a new G Fuel shaker, by the way. So, G Fuel, if you're watching, sponsor me. This is the New York Comic Con shaker, which I got for free for ordering G Fuel when there was a sale or something. Oh, man. For some reason today, I'm just like super thirsty. My mouth is dry. Truthfully, I think I'm like right on the verge of being sick. I did take some pain medicine because my throat is starting to hurt and kind of swell up. So I didn't want it to be a problem for the stream. So I took some pain medicine, but I hope I can make it through to the weekend. I have another presentation tomorrow, and I need to give that presentation, and then I'll be okay. I don't know if I'll be able to stream tomorrow, though, actually, because my wife is going on a retreat this weekend, so she's going to be gone overnight on Friday and get back at some point Saturday evening. So I need to get out early and get the kids from her and then pick up my older ones from school. And my older ones are going to spend the night at my parents' house on Friday, so I will still have the baby. So it's going to be kind of weird for me to just have me and the baby at home. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm perfectly capable of taking care of the baby, but it's just so weird to have like an empty house. Okay. What did I break before we left off? I know I broke something. Oh, okay, these classes, right? Alright. So let's just pull in, where are we at? This, am I not using, no, I'm not using it here. Where am I using it? Here. Classes. I guess it would have been faster for me not to try to copy and paste that. Oh well. Don't need these. Alright, let's see if that works. Yay, that worked. Awesome. Let's get rid of that mess. Okay, so now we can use these classes. So we're gonna make, for now, just 2 spans. We're gonna probably make this its own component at some point. There may have been something in Material UI that would work better for this, like a list component. Maybe we should use that. Let me just try this first, and then maybe we can check out the Material UI documentation quickly to see if there's something pre-made that might be better for us to use. Rendered, so we need, set a title rendered, we need excerpt. I don't know if we have suitable excerpts for everything. We're going to find out here in a second. Ooh, wow. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. I was not thinking that we would get HTML tags in with our excerpt. Didn't really want that. Okay. Yeah, Joey says need dangerously set enter HTML. Yeah, yeah. That's what we need to display that properly. I think I don't want the HTML to be rendered, so that's kind of a problem with the data right now. There may be a better way in WordPress that I could strip out the tags there. Yeah, I'll have to work on that in WordPress. So for now, I will display these, let's say, like as is. So I'm going to do a little bit of styling here. So let's go title. We're going to make this font size 24 pixels. Let's go 24 pixels. Font weight. Font weight is 400. And I am messing this up. There we go. Yeah. And then let's go display block. And then let's go. Excerpt is going to be font size 18 pixels, and then font weight we're going to set to 300. Okay. Now let's see what kind of a difference this makes. This full material icons. Why do we have this in here? Let's get rid of that. Okay, so this is a little bit easier to see where everything is. Wow, that's huge for an excerpt. Yeah, Wow. I'm gonna have some serious data cleanup to do if we're gonna be able to do this search like I wanted to. Wow. Michael says, at this point, we wouldn't blame you for cursing your predecessors. Yeah. All right, how are we going to handle this? Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Right now, we can't rely on the excerpt or content to be in any type of format that it needs to be in. I don't think I'll have time. I still don't have a date for launch. So I don't know. I don't know when we're going to launch. I need to be kind of ready to launch, let's say, at the end of this month. But we could realistically have 2 more months. I don't know. So let's say I only have till the end of this month before we launch. I don't think there's any way that I can go through every piece of content and clean this up, or even add in an extra field of my own type of description. I can't do that. So I think we're going to have to just stick with the titles of the pieces of content. Yeah, it's got to be that. So we should have... All right, let's have the data that we can have that should be somewhat decent. The titles, they will need some work, but that's a lot easier than changing large chunks of text. So I probably would have time to go through and change titles. And then the content type. So we can display the content type and the title. And between those things, perhaps we can give the user enough information. All right, let's do that. The third thing that we need to worry about that I don't think we'll solve today is where do we then send the user, right? Like what? Right now, WordPress has no idea what the page URLs are. So when we display this, are we trying then to send the user to a page in the site, or would we want to just display the full content to the user? I mean, they're going to expect to go to a page, right? Yeah, I think we need some way to link up the main place where a piece of content would exist on the page to a URL. Based on a content type, we should be able to do that. Okay. I just want to get that out there so we can think about it. I'm not going to try to solve that problem today. What we are going to do today is try to pull in content type, and let's try to pull in, well, we already have the titles. We're going to need to put the titles in through what's the dangerously set inner HTML, because we have special characters like this that won't display without it. All right, so let's do that. Let's do that now. Let's get rid of this and instead put item, I think it's type. So item type, and then let's go to two uppercase is a thing, right? Two uppercase, that's how it is. All right, and instead of this, let's call this type, and let's change this a bit. Type, and we're gonna make this, I guess that's fine. We didn't really have to do two uppercase there. We could have done it in CSS. Yeah, let's get rid of this, because let's do it in the CSS. The reason I'm going to do this is because this is going to come through kind of weird, and actually it's probably going to have some hyphens in it, so we may need to pull those out. But for now, let's do text. Is text transform? Yeah, text transform. Is it uppercase or capitalize? I think it's uppercase. And then for this, we need to do dangerously set inner HTML. Set HTML like that. Yeah, equals, and then what are we doing in here? Is it double? I think it's double. I always have to look this up. HTML. And then I think this is how you do it. Okay, that looks all right. And when we do that, we don't need this here anymore. We can just close that tag. Okay. All right. Okay, so yeah, I did something with the dangerously set inner HTML. Okay, so it is capitalized. I was right the first time. So yeah, I definitely want. Yeah, I'm gonna need. We're gonna need to transform these somehow. Page. At the very least, I want the. Somebody at my door? No, I think they're just unloading equipment right in front of my door. We need to remove the hyphens, but I'm not worried about that for now. I just want to get this displaying. Oops. No, must be in the form of. Oh, I need double of these. Yay. Alright, cool. So now we have the special characters displaying, and now we know what the type is. Alright, wonderful. Alright, let's check. I'm checking the live chat just to see if anyone had any suggestions about what we were just doing. Joey says React HTML parser might be better practice than dangerously set inner HTML. Yeah, you're right. That could be better. Usually when I have control over what data is being pulled in, and it's coming from sources that really like me or people on my team are going to be the only people that have access to, I don't worry about it as much. But in general, you're right. It is a good. It would be a better practice to use something a bit more secure. Okay. All right. Niki's trying to get my attention. What is... Let's see. All right, I'm not sure what was going on. All right, so this is not, check my time, 7 minutes. Yeah, this is not really good looking. We could make it a bit better. I did say we were going to check out the material UI documentation, so let's do that quickly now. I think, whoa, I want to see what that pop-up was. No. Anyway, component demos. There's a list. Yeah, that's not really what I want. I want the grid list. See what the expansion panels look like. Yeah, I don't think I want expansion panels here. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I think we're good with what we have. What I'd like to do is add some space between these. Maybe, yeah, maybe even, we'll try space it first. Oh, okay, John was trying to get my attention. So what, let me see, what's up, John? Oh, okay, Markdown to JSX will work. What? All right. So what are we going to use Markdown to JSX for? Let me know why we should use Markdown to JSX. I haven't used it before. Okay, so I want to move this up. And what's that? And let's make class name, let's call this classes dot search results. So for search results, let's go with margin. All right, let's try that out. See what it gives us. Okay, a little bit more space. Can definitely tell what's what. Actually, this entire thing needs to be placed in our kind of grid that we've had on other pages. So content container. Let's pull this content container out of here and just try it over here on the search. Let's see what we have. Layout. Let me put this. Yeah. Search. Alright, so this is just some like basic layout styling right now. We just want to wrap the container, or we want to have a container around all of this. What's wrong? Oops. Well, I was using theme is not defined. What? I can't use theme. Oh, I gotta put theme in here. Okay. And my timer's going off. Alright, let's see if that did it. No. There we go. Okay, so now we have a little bit of space there. So that looks nicer. So basically we added this container that gives us various widths depending on how large the screen is. That's where these theme breakpoints came into play. So these are built into Material UI. So when we bring in theme, we're able to use those built-in breakpoints. And you can see we made a container out of this div that just contains all that, basically everything on our page, you know, except the app bar. All right. So that's as far as I think we're going to get today. You can see basically where I'm kind of going with this is that we will have clearly marked content types and then titles. Right now the titles are a bit of a mess, but we are going to clean those up. And yeah, so I think it'll be, we're going to have to add a link to link users to a page that they can get more information, obviously. And then we still need to create a bunch of ways to sort the data and filter the data. Okay. So let me just, let's commit this. Then I'll go to the live chat, answer any questions that anyone has. To get add, oops, yarn, CM. Oh, I apologize. This font was probably a bit too small for you all. sorry about that. So let's go feature. Yeah, that's pretty much it. No. Okay. Great, that passed. Oop, git site push. Alright, so all the changes are now in GitHub. And I'm going to scroll back up to where we left off at in the live chat. And I'm also going to take off my sweater. It's really hot in here. I don't want to turn on the fan and you know, have all that extra noise. So excuse me a second. It's not even really cold enough for a sweater here. I don't know what I was thinking when I wore this today. Okay. So we left off. Oh, Michael has said, just got here, no Ambrose today. Yeah, no Ambrose today. If you watched the stream that I did yesterday on my YouTube channel, my son Ambrose was there, who's 3, and then my daughter Cordelia, who's 1, I don't know, 1.5, something like that, was also in the video. My wife may have made it on. I don't know if she made it on camera or not. She was in the room, and so it got a little crazy with the kids there. And at one point, Ambrose was running behind me with just a shirt on and nothing else. He went to the bathroom and couldn't put his underwear back on. Luckily, it did not get on camera. All right. Let's get... I'm just scrolling down now looking for questions. Walid says, for search page, autofocus the input bar. That is a great idea. I definitely want to do that. I think that's an awesome feature. The website Can I Use does that, and I love it. Every time I go there, I notice that, and I'm so thankful that it just saves me a click. And usually when I go to Can I Use, like, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I just want to look it up really fast. It's perfect. So yeah, I definitely want to do that. That's a great idea. Smiler says, hi, cool beard. When I saw you last time, you were without a beard. That was probably a while back, a couple months ago at least. Yeah, so right now I have the beard. I'm thinking maybe I'll keep it for a while. I kind of thought about shaving it recently. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Should I keep the beard? Should I shave it? I don't know why I'm thinking about shaving it. Maybe I'm just getting bored with it. But let me know what you all think. Michael says, you don't need a search page. You just need a search results page. Yeah, I mean, I agree. But, you know, essentially a search page and a search results page are going to be the same thing. It's just going to be a page wherever you display results. You know, the only question is, are we going to have another search bar or not? Either way, I mean, that the page is going to look almost exactly the same. looks like there's a discussion about buying laptops versus desktops and different things. So I'm not going to read through all that. Hopefully, if this new feature works like it's supposed to on YouTube, you all that watch this later will be able to read through that discussion as well. Trade Oz says, hi Jesse, your thoughts on TypeScript? I have not used TypeScript myself. I mean, I've like read over it in some repos that use it. I think TypeScript is a cool idea. I could see how it would be useful. I don't like it enough for me to use it, but I haven't really had a lot of experience with it. So I could see why TypeScript could potentially be a better way to do things. So I wouldn't adopt TypeScript like across the board, but potentially like for a specific project, it might not be a bad idea to require TypeScript on a project. Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of think it's, so correct me if I'm wrong, but TypeScript could potentially, I don't know, like it makes your code, I don't know how to say this. So this is my take on TypeScript. Like I said, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know a lot about it, but TypeScript is basically a more strongly typed version of JavaScript. I mean, it's still JavaScript, right? But it's like this layer on top. So potentially TypeScript would have the same advantages as a strongly typed language. It would be harder to write bad code or insecure code. So that's why I'm thinking, like, depending on the project, if you really needed, you know, those type of safeguards, I could see it as being important. But on most projects, I would prefer to use regular JavaScript because it would be accessible for more people to be able to read the code and contribute. So anyway, that's my thoughts. And if I'm totally missing the point of TypeScript, please let me know. I guess I have not done that much with it, and I've seen very little TypeScript code. So I could be getting it completely wrong. Let's see. Michael says, this stream reminds me that I'm not the only geek in the world. Of course, I get upset at my son when he only watches YouTube videos of people doing things instead of doing things. So here I am. Nikki says, how do you update the branch you used for a pull request when updates happen to the master branch while you're working on it? Something with a get rebase or as simple as a pull? What would be the best way? Can you, let me think. Yeah, I guess you'd have to update your fork with the new stuff. And I can't remember. I did this like sometime within the last month, and I can't remember how I did it. I totally, how did I do that? It's not something I do enough that I remember it. I always have to look it up. So, yeah, I mean, I would assume however you normally update your fork, that's what you would do, and just make sure that your particular branch gets updated with the new stuff as well. Michael says, G Fuel, when React drains all your health. John says, I've heard Django is a good alternative to WordPress. I haven't worked with Django. I've heard it talked about a lot or mentioned a lot. I don't really know whether or not like it really would be an alternative to WordPress, or it exists kind of in a different class. So from what I understand, Django would be like it's like a PHP framework or library. So Django might be to PHP what like Angular is to JavaScript, something like that. I don't know if that comparison is correct exactly, but yeah. So it seems to me though that Django would take a lot more knowledge about coding to use, and WordPress, you don't have to know anything about coding to use WordPress if you really just wanted to. So that's why I think WordPress might be in a different class. Ennis, it's E-N-E-S. Ennis says, why don't you put semicolons? So I'm using JavaScript style guide. It's called like standard style, so standard JS, and you don't need to use semicolons with that. So there are very few and rare cases where you actually need a semicolon, or else it changes the meaning of your code. So of course in those cases I would most certainly use a semicolon, but I've never come across one of those cases in my code, not that I can remember. So I prefer not to use semicolons, because given the choice between writing more and that more doing nothing, or writing less, of course I would choose to write less. But I'm cool with people who like semicolons. So this is, you're entirely free to love semicolons or not in this live chat. Michael says this is the difference between front-end and back-end devs. The front-end devs want to make it look good. The back-end devs want it to be right. Yeah, yeah, and I'm like stuck in between right now. So I want it to look good and be right. Let's see. Jeff says, can you limit the displayed text to a certain length? I can. We could definitely limit the text. For now, though, I think I'm going to try to just not have the text, because, I mean, the data is not in good shape. I'm not even sure that all of our data, like all of our posts, even have excerpts. I mean, we could just pull in the actual text and this give a little bit of it, but I don't know. I think it's going to be weird. I'd rather show less and have that less look better than just dump a bunch of stuff on the page that potentially might not even make sense. Joey says there's probably an HTML parser package that could be used. I did something like that with Python a few years ago. Yeah, for sure. And I think someone mentioned it a little later on in the stream. Michael says, don't do it, don't do it. Was it when I was putting in dangerously set enter HTML? It's not quite as dangerous as it sounds, as long as you for sure know what's going to be put into that that element. Oh, Jeff had mentioned putting a link to the page, and you're right. That definitely needs to go in there. Joseph asks, "Is this Quincy?" No, this is Jesse. I just volunteer for freeCodeCamp. Quincy is the man in charge. So occasionally he does stop in the live chat, but I don't think he's watching today. Michael says, was the search a big problem in your previous meeting? If not, why stress? It did come up in one of the meetings. Let me think. Yeah, you know what? I don't remember exactly what I even said about it in the meeting. But I just know, so the search is a feature that we definitely want. Oh, I know. I remember now how it came up. Yeah, so it did come up that right now people aren't happy with the current search, and they want it to be better. So I did talk a little bit about how the search was going to function. So I need to come through with that at some point. The reason I'm focusing on the search right now is because when I'm not streaming, I need to be moving data over and getting it in better shape, which is pretty boring. So I'm trying to do things on the stream that, I don't know, are a little bit more interesting and have some kind of immediate visual feedback. So I think that's better for streaming. So that's why I'm working on the search stuff right now. It may not be 100% necessary right now at this point, but it's definitely a feature that I think we should have for launch. People are going to expect a search. Okay, so John was mentioning Markdown to JSX a while ago, and I had asked him to explain more about it. So he says Markdown to JSX will make the HTML markup read as JSX markup, even though you're bringing over that string of HTML. Okay. Yeah, you're right. That would make sense. John says you wouldn't have to bring over all the content, but maybe a preview of the first few sentences or so as it shows in the search results. Yeah, Nikki says, yeah, strip the HTML tags from the excerpt and truncate the excerpt. Michael say, did I do the pull request right? What pull request? Did you do pull requests for this repo? Did I miss it? Or are we talking about a different repo? I don't know. Let me know. Okay, Joey says, I didn't use Yarn CM. I'm guessing I should use that for all future commits. Yeah, Joey, please use Yarn CM for commits. It's okay. It's not like a huge deal, but we're trying to keep kind of a standard commit message structure. So, yeah, try to use that next time. Oh, excuse me. Nikki says, got to go. Time for lots of French fries. Bye, everyone. Please give me feedback on the PR and GitHub. Okay, I will try my best to look over that pull request and get you feedback sometime today if I can. And, wow, I really wish I had lots of French fries. I'm kind of hungry right now. Oh, John Hansen says, focus on an input field will not work in React when set in the HTML input element. It has to be set in JS, though it can be buggy depending on what else is mounting and how many other listeners are in use. Okay, that's good to know. So that will not be as easy as I thought it would be. Okay. I need to correct something I said earlier. So Joey and Nino tell me that Django is a Python framework. My apologies. I was mixing up Django with Laravel. Sorry about that. So for whatever reason, I mixed up Python or Django and Laravel. So Django is a framework for Python. And then if you want a PHP framework, Laravel is the way to go. So that's the better comparison. So comparing, I believe, and maybe I'm wrong on this too, please let me know. So comparing Django to WordPress, I don't think is necessarily like an exact comparison there. But Laravel and Django would be a better comparison. Let me know. Disclaimer here, I haven't worked with any of those frameworks, so please don't take my word for this. I haven't taken the time to learn about any of this, so I probably shouldn't say anything. I don't want to mislead anyone. Let's see. Oh, okay. Michael's talking about the Node Resource Manager repo. Oh, okay. Michael, I'll have to check that out. So I've kind of been, like, honestly, I've kind of been putting that stuff on the back burner since I already turned it in. And I've had, a lot of requests coming in for this project. And then we have that JavaScript.af side project as well, which I'm finally starting to actually, get ready to do some work on because I haven't had time. So apologies. I'll try to take a look at that as soon as I can. All right. Well, I am to the bottom of the live chat. So thank you, everyone, for watching and for all your help and your advice. I definitely got a lot of good opinions. I always like that. It gives me a lot to think about, and the end result always ends up being way better than what I intended. I might be back tomorrow. Tomorrow I got a short day. And I have a presentation. I can't remember what time my presentation is. So if I do stream tomorrow, it may be at a weird time. Maybe not at our normal time. But yeah, so might see you tomorrow, maybe next week. Either way, I hope you all have a great day, maybe a great weekend, and hopefully I see you all back here for the next stream where we'll work again on this search function. All right, thanks again. See ya.